Hi guys, welcome back to the show. And yes, we have a very special guest in the building. Like I said earlier, we're talking gospel and ministry. So we have a dynamic Nigerian gospel minister whose music is shaped by diverse cultural influences across the country. With a strong academic background, years of service in different church denominations, is using spirit-filled sounds to reconcile people back to God and shape culture.
Right, Henry DYNAMO is our very special guest. Good morning, Henry. How's it going?
Good morning.
Good to have you on.
Good to have you here. Lovely jacket, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so there are so many things we'd like to ask you, and I want to start by not even talking about your music. I want to talk about the gospel music space as it is. I saw your music video, loved the concept. It looked a little like, you know, a very, very upbeat, you know, new generation type video. And my question now is, you know, what's the difference between gospel music in today's world and, you know, circular music? Because everything is fast paced. It's changing.
Gospel music in this world presently.
Yes. Yes. Or what sets it apart? You know, the message. Brilliant.
The message and the life of the person, the minister is really
Okay.
So, you know, you can't pour from a vessel that is dead, you need extent.
That is true.
So that means there's a vessel. That means gospel music you expect that those who convey, who portray the vessel that pass out and are connected to the Spirit of God. Those who go through secular, they are connected to a means by which they deliver themselves. So
Brilliant.
it is the message
That sets you apart.
Interesting. All right. So your debut album is streaming on platforms. So how do you see that the platform of streaming shaping music, especially gospel music today?
I saw recently how gospel music tops billboards. Of course, it's inspiring. It's beautiful to see things like that. Differences of gospel music, doing things like that. So I believe now you would see that there is a lot of creativity in the gospel industry, and that creativity it helps to put out certain forms of information to all these streaming platforms. These streaming platforms, they are mechanical, they are automated, so they work with what they have.
Yeah.
So if you put out a sound that is gospel and you know it reaches the mind, it does the message that is supposed to pass, the streaming platforms don't have a choice. They would spread it because they know that people...
It's in demand.
Yes, exactly. It's in demand. That's the word.
Okay, so we need to take a quick break. We'll be back. We have our guest Henry in the studio. Don't go anywhere.
When he shows up, nothing is too hard for my God. When he shows up, possibility show. When he shows up, nothing is too hard for my God. When he shows up, he's the God of possibility. How he does it, I don't have a clue. Since he said it, I've got to believe it will surely.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Yes, we still have our guest in the building, Henry DYNAMO, and we're talking about all things gospel music. So let's look at the fact that what are some of the challenges that gospel artists like you face when it comes to funding, which I know is a very big thing, raising money. Some of the challenges with pushing your music.
Okay, when it's the right time, there is something that happens to, there's a language we call it, because we know the system where we come from. It's the breath of God upon a sound. When there's a breath of God upon a sound, it compels different forces around to make it happen. So it could be person, it could be people, but beyond that, let's say aside that, when people say there is a challenge in spreading gospel music, speaking of funds, like you talked about, well, it's undeniable that people face such constraints. That's why even resources are very important in any kind of work. They say in Yoruba, so I'm just trying to, so there's a lot that when does in things like that, and it's beautiful that God opens way for those who are in the ministry to access certain forms of wealth, and then it makes ministry move. So I believe once funds is sorted, there are other challenges of, let's say, the exposure of the music minister in one way or the other. So the people they know, their exposure in past, their previous experiences, the nature of their sound, the nature of the people who listen to their sound. Those are things that people need to get clear, and then their identity, who they are, the calling that they have to the sex of people, that's the demographic people they are sent to. Once they have those cleared, then
yeah, because I'm looking in terms of the beyond just the challenges, the promotion, visibility.
Yeah.
When you compare it to secular artists now, you know, how does he rank? Because of course, a lot of gospel artists too are being signed to record labels. You know, so it's not that they don't have the grace of God in them. These are doyens of the industry are getting signed, they're getting distribution deals. You know, so how can they, because promotion is there, visibility is there, you know, it's good to depend on God, I understand, but there are also the material elements that work to make things fuse together. So how do you think, you know, gospel artists looking to occupy, that's the word, on big stage or global stage, how do they position themselves?
So there's something about our definition of success. So our definition of every gospel artist would have a definition of what it means that, okay, yes, I'm doing the thing that God has sent me to do and I'm doing it well. So that definition, not comparison. If you start saying these people are doing it this way and they are making this way, there is a definition to you. If the gospel artist who, for example, we talked about being signed to record labels, can find himself on charts, has been going for certain forms of ministrations at different locations, blessing lives are being changed, and he has seen testimonies around it. Those kind of gospel artists, I don't think, at the moment they are hearing testimonies, to me, I see my own angle of what the success is in the angle, the fact that I hear testimonies in the lives of people. So the more testimonies I hear that God is doing through the sound that I'm making, irrespective of the reach,
it's solid for you.
That's solid for me.
All right, so let's look at collaboration. Do you think is important? Because I know that a lot of gospel artists, first so to speak, are not really looking at to collaborate. They just want to build and make sure their music changes lives. Why you think collaboration is important for a gospel artist? Where should you place collaboration? Because I know you also want to be led by God to know who to collaborate with. So when it comes to collaboration, do you think more gospel artists should collaborate?
But I think more gospel artists should collaborate. Collaboration, you know, I like how Scripture says one will chase 1,000, two will chase to 10,000 to a flight. So the truth is, collaboration is very important. If gospel ministers collaborate, the reach would be better. The workload will be lesser. Let's say, for example, you want to address a cultural issue let's say you want to address a cultural issue of theft, and then you were to receive sounds or lyrics for that, and then you collaborate with someone. You don't have to start thinking of the first verse, the second verse. You understand what I mean? Together, you've already done that. And you have reached out. With collaboration, you've already sorted how you could reach out to so many people. And then the time that will be lost will be minimal when people collaborate. Time, resources, the spread will be better when people collaborate.
Nice. Now let's talk about is this your debut album?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
The name is
But With God.
But With God. What inspired this song?
Okay. I have done a couple of singles before now, and there was the part where I had the lead in my hand. I had to put this first together. Like, I should put these singles that have been dropped at different times together as an album. How to go about it, I didn't know. I saw God's face, and there was a season where in our church presently we've been taught about seeing possibilities, and of course that's where I drink from, and it influences a lot from how God uses my mind to spread music, to spread message. For example, how we're in school, they teach us 1 times 2, 2 times 4. You know, when they started making it in form of music, it started resting more. So I realized that there's a part that music plays in allowing certain words to dwell or rest in the hearts of people. So that sound came in that process, and I didn't want to do it. So it did not look like, why are you doing this sound? And then the Spirit of God led my heart to say, oh, come on, I should see it to the end. And then we saw it to the end, and then it was titled But With God. And then I realized that there was a reason why. I looked through every song that I had done from 2020 till now. I realized that there was a part that was always singing the fact, or let's say stating out the fact that God was needed in every situation. And to see possibilities, we need
to dream.
We need to see God. We need to experience or realize God's presence in that situation. It dawned on me that this is what sort of fixes the puzzle. This is what fixes the puzzle. And then I realized this should be the title of this album.
Okay.
We see how Scripture says, with man it may appear as though it is impossible to do, but with God, it will encourage people. That's one of the things, and it would rest. The word of God will richly dwell in the heart of people when it comes in form of sound. We're just trying to, you can't take a morsel of food without soup. Let's say those who take, swallow, they take it with the soup. When you take it like that, the music sounds like, it's just like that soup that aids the word to go in so easily and richly dwell.
Okay.
So that's what we are trying to achieve.
So what is coming up in the works, in the video? Is it just any other new singles coming up? Any other videos?
Yes. Okay, there's a video that we're to expect.
Okay.
There's a new sound, but to expect. It's together with my family, Extra Oil Music.
Okay.
We are putting out a sound, and I believe everyone should look out for that. Even after they finish, they keep streaming, but with God. It's titled I Am Yours.
Nice.
Lord will bless
nice.
hearts with it.
So how can gospel music kind of break into the global space without losing the spiritual essence? Because I know that most church platforms are the platforms where gospel musicians or artists or ministers, sing. So how can they also break into the global space without losing their spiritual essence,
Thank you. It starts first from the gospel music minister. Every gospel minister has consecrations with his father, that is God, even before they start going into the global space. There are consecrations they have with their father. And if they start spreading to the global space and lose that consecration, at that moment, the spiritual essence starts doing. There are moments when we heard in the Bible how the Spirit of God left a king, and over a long period of years, the Spirit of God was not him and he was still feeling he was a king. So it's possible that to even gospel music ministers, they get their space into the global world, and because they lost their consecrations, there's every tendency that the spiritual essence between the sound that they bring will be lost. So we should please, as gospel music ministers, not lose our consecrations for any reason. And the spiritual essence behind our sound will always remain.
Wow, thank you so much, Henry. Because of time, we can't take more, but I know, like you said, there are more songs coming up in the work, more singles, more videos, I believe from the end of this year.
Yes, by God's grace, before the year ends.
Nice. A lot of the things that you said are very important for the music ministry and for gospel music, because it's a changing industry, and there's now much structure, to it.